Hey guys, Kevin here. Going to do some education real quick on rideshare. This video is basically at the beginning. This video is for beginners. If you are a seasoned professional, probably not going to be a whole bunch of education in here for you. Might be a little something if you want to watch and maybe even just to leave some comments or to help out the community or just to see what I have to say, then that's fine. I always say go ahead and hit that subscribe button because a video or two a week, that YouTube doesn't spam you. They just send you a notification that you're going to get that the video is there. Might be something for you to see. And as always, it is a community, guys. There's a comment section right below. Leave some comments. If you have something to say that might help somebody, leave it. If you have questions, leave it in there. I might be able to cover it in a video. I'm going to cover a couple topics. And again, this is kind of going to the beginning. Going to start from the beginning here. Number one is choosing a car or choosing how to do rideshare. Me personally, I had a leg up. My previous job that I quit to do this because it was profitable. I was a service manager at a national garage chain. So it's a tire store and garage and all that, and made decent money, but knew cars pretty well. And one of the things I looked at was cost to operate. And cost to operate does involve a couple things. It involves your maintenance costs, your fuel costs, and stuff like that. But also, most people think about it. You know, the bigger the car and the bigger the tires, tire prices can go from small to very big. If you're running a C-Class Mercedes on Uber X or Lyft regular, man, you're paying 3 times more for tires than I am on my Toyota Corolla. And Toyota Corolla is the most dependable car in America. It's a very simple car. It has great trunk space. I can fit like 4 or 5 good pieces of luggage in it. And the biggest thing on that is that they never break down. I get 34 miles a gallon combined, average out here doing rideshare. And I've just broken 200,000 miles on it over the last almost 2 years in doing rideshare. And I've had a couple small maintenance issues, but nothing big to be expected with the kind of mileage I put on it. And do my oil changes on a regular basis, which is very important because you're either going to pay to maintain a car or you're going to pay to repair it. Repairing costs more than maintaining. Do your oil changes on that regular basis. Rotate your tires. A lot of the garage chains do offer what they call a lifetime alignment service, which means you pay for it once and you go and get alignment whenever you want. If you're driving a lot, you're going to need a lot of service in that car. And we come into the other problem of it is a lot of people, okay, you want to do rideshare, you don't have a car, you don't have a good car for it, and a lot of the rideshare companies will offer you like a rental or a program car through them, and that's got considerations with it. Number one is the cost, and you have to know that you're going out and working full time if you want to cover that rental cost. Now, I haven't done that, so there's some of the information I don't know and some I've heard, which I could be wrong on, and that's where I'm hoping that some of the people that do this can leave a little information. But they kind of track the mileage through the app on how many miles you're driving for the service and how many miles you put on the car. And some of it, I don't know, there you can get it through Uber or Lyft and through Enterprise, and there's also a company out there called Ride Hire or something like that. And the issue with any of those are, if you're getting it from Uber and Lyft, I think they kind of track the mileage to keep you from like doing both. Or if you get it from Lyft, you only drive Lyft. You get it from Uber, you only drive Uber. They notice a lot of miles and you're not doing it, they're going to charge you. I don't know the case is if you get it from Enterprise. I don't know if Enterprise is doing it anymore. That was a deal that's here in Atlanta for a while. Ride Hire is, I don't think they care. They just charge you a daily fee. And maybe you can do both or multiple rideshare services and participate in more than one in doing those. So that's a bit of a consideration. But you definitely want to get the cheapest car to operate as you can, because if you make X number of dollars, you spend X number of dollars on a car, then Y is left over. The more Y's, the better. The more dollars in your pocket at the end of the day, the better. Cheaper gas costs, cheaper maintenance costs. So definitely consider about that when you start driving. My recommendation is Toyota Corolla, because from years and years of being in the automotive industry, it's the cheapest to maintain. It really is, and it gets good gas mileage. very comfortable. It's roomy and all that. Secondly, if you're going to buy a car for rideshare, just a piece of advice, don't buy a new one. I put average about 10,000 miles a month on the car. So when I bought my car, I wasn't thinking rideshare. I just bought it because I needed a car, traded in a car on it. And it was about $21,000 because I got a nice one with all the touch screen and all the stuff on it. And I kept it for about 8 months before I started doing rideshare. I had a couple thousand miles, a couple more than a couple thousand, but and probably in the first couple months of doing rideshare, I put as many miles on the car as what I'd had on it the 8 months previously. If you're doing 10,000 miles a month and you buy a 2-year-old car for 60% of the cost of a new car or better, and you put as many miles in 2 months as what the car has on it when you bought it, then it's basically you've just spent 40% less money or 50% less money for 2 months worth of driving. So right now, 2015 or 16 Toyota Corolla is still going to have probably 30,000 miles on it. That's 3 months worth of driving. So it's not many miles in consideration to the longevity of the car, and you'll get that for look around, get the cheapest one you can, $13,000-$14,000 versus 19 to 21, depending on which level model that you get. If you have a car already and you're going to be doing rideshare for a living, you might want to start with what you have, save up, and change it, because if you're spending twice as much on maintenance and twice as much on gas as what you could be spending, it might cover the whole car payment. And then you have a car to drive. For rideshare, you're going to put lots of miles on, and you have a personal car to drive. Secondly, about that is record keeping. I'm going to do like a whole video on taxes and taxation and keeping your records and stuff like that. But right from the beginning, you got to know, keep track of every mile you drive and why, and keep track of all your expenses. Now, if you're getting a program car through one of the services, or like rideshare or something like that, ride hire, or through one of the programs through Uber or Lyft or one of the other services that you may have in your area that I don't have here, you can't deduct mileage. It's not your car. But what you can deduct, though, is the cost of that car and anything that you put in on top of that. So you're paying for gas. You need to keep every gas receipt. It's deductible. If they want you to come in and do an oil change and give up the car for a day or two, and you say, I'd rather work, I'll just pay the $25 for oil change myself, keep the receipt, because that's deductible, then you spent that money. Anything that you spend money on for that car, other than the weekly payment for it, you can deduct. And talk to your tax professional. I don't give any tax advice, but I believe you can deduct. Let me be legal here. But keep all your records. Keep the mileage, anything like that. And again, I'm going to go into mileage and taxes the best of my ability without giving actual advice. And probably my next video or the one after that. And that's only going to benefit you when you go to your tax professional at the end of the year and you have all that. At least he can say, yes, this is deductible, this isn't deductible. Even if you're getting that car through these services, when I show you how to keep mileage for your car, keep that mileage anyway. A tax professional is going to know more than me. Having the information is better than not having the information. You said, if you had that, you could have used it. So that's basically, that's a big part of owning a business is record keeping. You need to keep every single dollar record that you can. Looking at what I do, I do 10,000 miles a month. You get to deduct 46.4 cents. So $4,600 a month comes off my income, on average. Think about that. That's how much am I making? Take $4,600. How much income do I have left to pay taxes on? Am I really spending $4,600 a month on my car? No, but the federal government says I get to deduct that. So that's very important about record keeping, choosing the right car, choosing to drive, and looking at what we call zone pricing. I said last video I'd cover that next video. What is zone pricing? Zone pricing, you look at a gas station in town, it's got one price. You look at another gas station for the same brand, it's got another price. It's called zone pricing. They price them differently based on need and location and what it costs them to be there and all that. Uber, Lyft, all these rideshare services, they pay differently in each city because of traffic and all that. You have to take that into account when you're going to decide where to drive or not, and when you are driving. When you're in a city like I'm in Atlanta, it's going to pay better than Greenville, South Carolina, than Charlotte, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. So what I make, it's going to be different from what you make, and whether or not it's going to be worth it to you to make that is going to be based on that pricing and what they pay, what they charge and what they pay. So you have to consider it when you're first looking, but you can also use that to your advantage. Why do they pay it? New York City, LA, why do they pay so much? Because you're sitting in traffic all the time. They also consider things like cost of living, cost of fuel, and all that. But you're sitting in traffic a lot. It's traffickier, it's busier. It's zone pricing just because of marketing. Hey, we can charge more here, so we do. And they pay a certain percentage, so it pays better. At the same point, when you start getting into it, zone pricing, I live in Atlanta, I live outside Atlanta, in one of the suburbs actually, and at certain times of day, the suburbs still stay a little bit busy, but yet there's less traffic out here. So the whole reason that pricing is because of you're sitting in traffic more, but I'm not sitting in traffic because I'm working in the suburbs at certain times. Therefore, I'm driving pretty straight and without as much traffic, which means I'm making more per hour, because I'm able to leverage that. And that's the thinking you have to have when you do a business of where I'm working at what time of day to make the most money. And I use that, explicitly in my decisions of how I do my job and how I run this business. The money expectations in general, I do on average about $1,100 a week. Some weeks I'm lazy, yes, and I only made $700 this week, but it was a choice. I want a couple extra days off or whatever. My best week, and again, I'm just doing UberX and Lyft regular, and I don't do the upper level stuff. I don't do the select. I don't do the whatever Lyft calls their nicer rides. And my best week was $1,596. I was mad. I was $4 away from breaking $1,600. Yes, I worked a lot that week. I just wanted to see what I could do if I put the effort in just nailing it, and it was a good week. You have better weeks. On average, I do $20 to $22.50 an hour. I have good days where I've come out and looked at my average. Wow, I made $35 an hour today. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. I've had bad days where I've come out and I only made $15 an hour today. But the bad days don't happen often. The really good days like that don't happen often. I see $25 days on average a lot. I see 30 occasionally. I see the 1750s occasionally. Average usually about the 2250. And the 15s and 35s happen. It is what it is. It's a business. It's not guaranteed. If you take in that into account and you go out there and put the effort into it, you can definitely make a decent living in that. Because of the tax benefits of being able to deduct so much stuff and owning your own car versus and being able to take all that mileage off. I put more in my pocket every month than I did as a service manager, and I didn't make bad money. It wasn't great, but rideshare is better. I did it for 2 weeks while I was working there, and I came and gave my notice. Dollars per hour, let me see. A lot less stress, and it was a little better than the same money. And then as I found out how to do it better, I'm making more money than I did when I first started, obviously, and the tax savings. It's definitely better now. So those are things to think of. Again, good basic information to start with. Next video, I'm going over the more intricate records of how to keep everything and what benefit it has for taxes. That's going to be a very important one. It should be covered right up front. One of the first things I cover for you. And that will be next. Again, subscribe. Get this information. It'll help you. Leave comments if you have information to share with others. It helps. Wouldn't you have really liked to have a lot of help when you started? And ask questions. We'll try and answer them or get it in the videos.